I've observed that people are getting totally tired and fed up with fragmentation in their lives. And so even the most ordinary, unthinking people are saying, I want something that makes more sense. I want coherence. I want an integration. I want harmonizing of parts of my life. I can't stand for parts of my life to be out of joint, disconnected, not working together properly. So what we have is a general emotional hunger in the culture to move toward a different way of doing things. I would expect that the people who are promoting the holistic paradigm are feeling that same hunger in a more sophisticated way, and so that emotional hunger drives the intellectual willingness to cognize it. And they're willing to actually deal with ideas that once would have sounded strange in the academic world, right? You know, in the academic world, we have habits of dividing things up by specialties and people staying in their specialist box. They're noticing it doesn't work very well anymore. And I believe that the more important it becomes to design things that will work for the planetary civilization, the more we have to come to terms with things that go across the discipline boundaries, and then we start seeing, oh, there are parallels here and here and here. And so we start noticing thematic similarities, and the movement of thematic similarities has an artistic aspect to it, so it's more challenging intellectually on the one hand, but it's more satisfying aesthetically on the other hand. So they may be difficult ideas of whole systems, but they're also very emotionally satisfying to go ahead and work on that, as opposed to digging more deeply into the same old disciplinary hole. So that's, I believe, is part of what gives rise to a holistic paradigm. The other part of it is that biology is becoming the new metaphor. And so if you say, you know, in the 18th and 19th century, a clockwork metaphor from Newton was the dominant metaphor. In the 20th century, the nuclear physics provided some dominant metaphors. But now all the interesting stuff that provides new paradigms is biological. So guess what? We're going to look for not necessarily scientific laws, but for metaphors that make sense of different parts of science. And metaphors that not only make sense of new knowledge, but can be used to turn the new knowledge into practical designs for a livable world. And the desire for practical designs for a livable world is really where we're going. So what that's doing is bringing the intellect back in touch with higher values. And some of those values may be rather spiritual, some of them may be just practical. But the higher values say, what's really important in life? Are we spending our time on what's really important? Are we putting our effort and our money into what's really important? And that becomes a crucial new development across a whole group of disciplines. What I see is that there is a general movement toward what's more satisfying to the intellectuals. But what satisfies them now is not what used to satisfy them. We've educated our desires, and holism is what results.